Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's your boy Black, and today we want to talk about season 8, episode 5 of Ready to Love. Now, in this episode, we start off with Red and Marvin up for elimination. Red gets sent home. Red leaves saying that he felt like he was 100% authentically himself, and I have to disagree. I think that Red would, if he was himself, his date with Lee would have been a lot better. Because I think he's one of those guys who is comical. He's a funny guy. He's a let loose type of guy. And he tried to present himself as someone who's more introverted, more quiet and everything when it came to Lee because of his attraction to Lee. That's what I believe. Now, I think if he's authentically himself, he doesn't have to prove or try to show someone who he is, his popularity, try to make people believe that he's a certain thing. It oozes off as someone who's not confident. And you never want to give anyone that vibe because when you're not confident, people feel they look at that as somebody who could possibly lie as well. You know what I'm saying? If you're not confident, you got to lie about what you got going on for yourself, then you'll lie about anything for the most part. So to me, I think that's the reason why Red was sent home and not Marvin. But Marvin definitely needs to go home. All right, then we start things off with Herbert. Herbert and these double dates. Herbert decides to invite Quentin, Janelle, and Kat out on a double date. This was a bad move. Why are you going to invite a man, give another man who's into the woman that you're into more opportunity to spend time with her, even in your face? So I don't agree with that, because exactly what happened, what I thought would happen, happened. Which was Janelle is trying to get both of them to spend time with her and pretty much forget about Kat. So Kat gets any type of attention, Janelle's going to see that as, okay, you're not really interested in me. Not understanding it's a double date. So another thing, what's going on with Quentin and those cutoff jeans, denim jeans for a man in 2023 is not a good look. Maybe in 1983, you can rock that, but not now. So that's a style you just do not want to bring back, Q. So I don't know what you were thinking, bruh, but that's not a good look. All right, so they start playing pickleball, and Q's interaction with Janelle is not so much bad. It's just it has moments to me where it's very clingy. Like I know some of the ladies want to say, leave Q alone. That's what we want a man to do. We want a man to be all up on us. Yeah, until it happens to you. Like, it's just a level, it's a one thing to show an interest. It's another thing to be someone's shadow. And I think he's just a little bit too clingy, in the interaction that those two have. Now, Janelle and Herbert had opportunity to talk, and Janelle let it be known, hey man, you didn't answer my text message. Matter of fact, she let that be known when she first sat down. So one, if I'm Q and we sitting down side by side, are you worried about another man's text message? I got something to say about that. I got a reason to feel a certain way about that. No, you talk about that one-on-one with him. Don't talk about that in my presence. We're not doing that. So for me, I think Q could have checked her on that. Cause let's be honest. You're not going to talk about another man while you sit next to me. Just what he didn't do or whatever. So Herbert and her got opportunity to talk. Herbert did apologize, but after he apologized, she was still slinging mud about that missed text message. Now, to me, that's a red flag because I'm all for, couples having disagreements. I'm all for, having a conversation about it, communicating about it. And if someone apologizes for it, let it be gone. Let it be known they apologize for it. Let it go. That's what men really don't want to have is a woman who they can talk to, apologize to, but that woman can't let it go or that woman still bringing it up. So if she's still bringing up the text message in the next video, then that's a problem. But, that situation is pretty cool. She wanted more of Herbert's time, but Herbert had to entertain her and Kat, which is why I say I don't think it was a good idea. All right, next up we have Chris. Chris invites Aries to his place. The man hires a chef. Great job. Great, nice little touch to hire a chef to make his favorite meal for her. Now, I think it would have hit home a little more if he made it himself, but he said he couldn't cook that well, I guess, so I get it. He also has that LCD Samsung refrigerator in the background. I don't know if y'all caught that. That refrigerator is a monster. That's my refrigerator right there. So they got together at the table. They ate. She enjoyed the food, which is always a plus. So they end up moving the conversation to the sofa and love seat. And where Chris decides to have this conversation about his mom, he got emotional. And trust me, I get why he was emotional about his mother. But at the same time, if that's her first time into your place, you don't want to lay something so heavy on someone so soon. It's okay to be vulnerable with your date, but you want to get to know them a little bit more to make it make sense of why you feel that you can be vulnerable with your date or with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend. So I would just say that if you have something deep rooted in you that makes you emotional, just try not to bring that out during the date where you're trying to get to know someone else. So you spent most of the date telling her about your mom. And I know when those emotions come out, that's kind of where it leaves you, but you kind of want to stay away from those type of conversations because it's kind of heavy for a first encounter, especially at your place. And I know that Aries said she was cool with it. I know she said that, she appreciated him being open and vulnerable. I really think that's just for TV, because I think if you ask Aries, would you have liked to have a fun date, or would you have chosen to have that same conversation again in a private matter? She would say that she wanted another type of date. So I'm just saying it drew me in. Like, I get the emotion again, but just the wrong timing, bro. All right. Next up, we have Marvin and Unique. Now, Marvin and Unique go horseback riding at a picnic with wine and flowers and blankets. Now, I want you to pay attention. The flowers that were at that picnic versus the flowers that Marvin presented to Quilla. Which one had more heart into it? That's why I say that it's not just the thought that counts. It's how much thought you put into what you're doing. So those two right there were completely different, black and white. So you had that. Think about that. So next, they end up having a conversation, and next thing you know, Marvin moves in a little closer, but he wasn't moving in closer to give a kiss. And I think it was misread. If you go back and look at that scene, Marvin was not prepared for that kiss, nor did Marvin enjoy that kiss. So I'm going to give you this. Marvin moved in close. He inched in, and Unique took it as a green light to give him a kiss. She gave him a kiss, held her hand up. People are like, okay, why did she hold her hand up? The reason why is because when people kiss, it looks disgusting. It looks ugly. It looks crazy. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen someone kiss before and you're like, ugh. It looks that way. But to the people that's doing it, they think they're looking sexy. They think they're looking good. You know what I mean? So can't tell them anything. So she understood that. So I appreciate her for putting her hand up. Now, after that kiss, the immediate reaction after that kiss, watch Marvin's face. Marvin has this look of, that was horrible. Even to a sense that maybe Unique's breath was foul. Now, I'm not saying this to make a joke, but that's kind of the vibe he gave, because immediately after that kiss, he took a sip of that wine. I want you to go back and pay attention to that scene. Immediately after the kiss, he had this frozen look on his face, like he was slightly disappointed. Then he had a drink of wine. Now, later on, he does have a conversation with her talking about kids and him wanting to have a son. And he said he wanted to keep going until he gets his boy. So that's a lot. That's a tall glass of water that you're asking for, because if a woman has 3 or 4 kids, if it's not in the DNA to produce you a son between the two of you, you can't just keep going just to keep going. Those kids need to be fed. So I think that his thought process behind that is lacking an area of maturity. But nevertheless, he said he enjoyed their time together. We'll talk about that later. All right, so next up we have Marier. He ends up inviting Chris, Jessica, Sierra, and Kira to an improv. Now, I don't know what Marier was thinking with those overalls. Overalls used to be an outfit that you could wear and you could rock a certain way, and it was real cool, real chill. He just could not pull that off. First of all, those overalls were too small. When you put overalls up to your chest, it is supposed to cover your high chest area. Those overalls were, never mind. All right, so moving along with the date. All right, so first we had Chris and Jessica that came up and they were, trying to do improv. So the interaction between the improv for me fell a little flat when it came to Chris, because there was a situation where Chris was like, so if you had done this, then I think blah, blah, blah. She said, well, you had done that. She said, he was like, so you don't agree with me? She said, no, I don't. And he just kind of fell flat at that point. He didn't have any type of authoritative type of mannerism to him. I'm not saying he has to be a dictator in the situation, but it was nothing about him that said, I need you to listen to me. I'm talking to you right now. He didn't have that. His voice was very soft, very timid. Like he didn't really know what to do. And that right there to a woman should be a red flag, because one, Chris does not have that look, that vibe that he oozes, I can protect you. He doesn't have that vibe of oozing the, hey, I can lead you. He doesn't give that energy. He may very well be a great leader, but on this show, he's not showing that to these women. And I think because of that, he's going to eventually be on the chopping block. But and they end up, saying their words. They got off. Then we have Maria and Kira. They were up there and they had their words. So Kira, asked a few questions. I can't remember exactly the question they asked, but I remember the body language between the two. Asked him if he goes to church. So he said he does bedside Baptist, which means you watch, church on the TV at home. So she was like, I don't know if you need to get up and do it, but I think if you're receiving the word, you're receiving the word. It's nothing like being in the house. But he said that and it rubbed her the wrong way. And it seemed like it rubbed her all the way the wrong way, because it went to commercial, but the little music that was playing during the commercial, it was all on Kira, and her facial reactions were hilarious. Like she was no longer entertained. She was ready to get up out of there. I don't even want to sit next to you. So I don't know if it's something else that took place during that time and they didn't air it, but boy, oh boy, she was not having it. All right. So next up there was Sierra and Herbert. Now, Herbert was the one I forgot, but Herbert and Sierra's interaction was very good between them. But I don't think that just because you have one thing in common, which is having kids, is a reason for you to just, okay, throw everything else away. We belong together. Let's go get married. Now let's go start having kids now. I know there was a sense of humor there as well, but at the same time, I think that it was a little truth to that as well. Like it shows that, sometimes we see one thing in someone. We think, oh my goodness, this person is so great. So he or she is so marvelous because of that one thing you have in common. You've got to keep going. You have to keep understanding how this person moves and make sure that they move in a way that you are familiar with, or a way that you promote, or the way that you support. Because in the end of the day, you got to make that person your man or your woman. And it can't be short term. The goal is not short term. The goal, it should be for marriage. So you need to take your time with making sure that you're picking the right person for you as a whole person, not one particular situation. All right. So next we have Phil, who goes out with Kat. Now, this interaction was pretty interesting to me. Kat looked very beautiful in her, I think it was like a sundress or whatever. Very pretty girl. I didn't notice that, but they had a conversation about religion and spirituality, which both of them are aligned in, which is a good start. You gotta have that first. You gotta be aligned when it comes to spirituality and religion. So I think that was good for them. Then Phil asked her a question about how does she feel about dating guys with kids, and she said it's fine, not a big deal. The whole changing the diaper thing though is crazy. I don't know if Phil's really open to having more kids or if he's not, but the interaction between those two seemed pretty solid. I didn't see anything wrong with there. So congratulations and good luck with them. All right. So next up we have Quentin. He invites Kira out. He invites Unique out to go boxing. So it's a workout type of date, which is cool. But, having two women there can be a lot for some men. Some men may not know how to navigate. Well, this kind of panned out for them because as soon as they were over with, I'm pretty sure the producers did this, but Kira had to go to the restroom all of a sudden, right? So he had an opportunity to speak with Unique. They talked about co-parenting. They talked about, past relationships, and that past relationship conversation again. Unique, she just keeps going into that a little bit too deep in the beginning. Even if it's brought up as a subject, you don't have to go as deep as she's going into it. Just saying, I've had my past relationships, my ups and downs, worked through them. I'm good now. I'm ready to date, blah, blah, blah. It just keep it moving. And then you can go more in detail once you decide, okay, I want you as my man or I want you as my woman. That's when you want to, release a little bit more of yourself to them so they can make an informed decision on whether they want to really be with you or not. I mean, I think that's fair. So, because she gave a little bit much, Quinn got that same vibe that everyone else was getting, that she's not quite ready. So Kira comes back in. Kira comes in and being very disrespectful with the question of, I think you date white women, or do you only date white women? Whether he did or he didn't, what does that have to do with your interest in him? Are you interested in him? Is he interested in you? And does that matter? So Quinn was completely turned off, as he should be, and men, we have to have those type of standards as well, where if we are turned off by what a woman says, that we follow through with how we feel about leaving that person alone. We overlook a lot of things that women do. Women overlook a lot of things that men do. You have to know yourself when you're dating. When you call yourself and say, hey, I want to date someone, I'm ready to get back out here in this field, you have to be very, very self-assured and know who you are, what you have to give, what you have to offer, and what you need in return. So I appreciate Quinn for doing that, man. It was a very boss move. So the guys get together at this point to deliberate on who they want to eliminate, right? And the decision was made that it's going to be Unique and Kira up for elimination. Now, what's interesting about this is that at the picnic, Marvin told Unique that he was interested in her, that, he gave that vibe that he was into her, that he wanted to grow. And he was the first one to say, I don't want to talk to Unique anymore. So I'm thinking that kiss had a lot to do with it. Sometimes when you kiss someone and those sparks don't go off, that gives you the indication that that person is just not for you. And I think that's what took place in this situation, because for you to go from, yeah, I'm into you, I want to get to know more about you, something about you is special, blah, 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 to saying, nah, she ain't the one for me. So I'm putting her up for elimination. That's cold blooded. He didn't have to say nothing during that part. He could have just left that part alone. But that was cold blooded to me. But ends up being Unique and, like I said, Kira. Now, Maurier is selected again to give this bad news. And I don't understand why they keep picking him. He's not good at it. So end of the day, it ends up being Unique that's sent home. Kira, she got the feedback. I don't think she's really happy with the feedback that she got. But she's still going to be on the show. Right. So I think that her stay may be coming to an end as well, because that being open to criticism is huge, just in dating and in life. You got to be open to good criticism or negative criticism, but it got to be constructive. So, that was the show, man. So until next time, you guys, it's been a good one. Let's see what they do on episode 6. It's your boy Black. Till next time, peace.
Black. Black, black, black.